Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Mustard Seed. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Ryan. Join us on our journey.
It's Wednesday morning. You know what that means. We're back at it. Week off. I don't know why. I guess a new life came in.
It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, there we go.
Off the bat, Josh found a way to use it.
I had to.
Yes.
That could play for.
It reminds me of Madagascar, the big hippo, Madagascar 2, Moto.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. Why? Because that's the noise that they make. She makes.
When the guy comes out of the water and he's hitting on the girl hippo,
Oh,
he's
yes.
like, "Oh yeah."
That's right. Okay, I remember. That's pretty funny. It sounds like the song that song that I just said before.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I don't know the name of this song.
But,
It's gonna come to me. Yeah, I can't think of it right now.
Hello, Moto.
Yeah, that's a good
Something like that. But a little Elijah is 8 pounds, 14 ounces.
Yay! All right.
Quiet, happy. Mom is healthy. Everyone's good. Logan's learning how to. He's very good, big brother. He kisses him all the time, but he always wants to boop him on the nose. So it's like teaching him that.
It's not a toy.
Yeah, not a toy. You got to be gentle.
Yeah.
But
It's so awesome. We're so excited to hear everything went smooth. Obviously, it was a little bit of a process, but everything's good.
Everything's good now. Jess is doing good. Strongest, very strong woman.
It is crazy. I mean, you just have a different appreciation for moms and what they go through.
If men had to do that, there would be no children. I'll tell you that.
Oh my goodness, I know. To think about what they go through to bring a life into this world is just moms are on a different level.
Just amazing, like how God made that part.
Oh
of
my
everything.
gosh.
And
Yeah, exactly. And it's you hear about it, obviously, you know about it, but when you experience it and you live it,
it's a miracle.
Oh my gosh, it is a miracle. What the nurses and the doctors do, and they do that every day.
Oh yeah,
It's so impressive.
Yeah, when we were there was 3 people, all C-sections.
Wow.
Including Jess was the third, but
Yeah.
all there was 3 births all around the same time. So
Wow.
and it's kind of crazy. Like that was my first, because the first Logan was natural, and this was our first C-section. And I don't know if it was different because it was a little bit of an emergency, but like the way they had her, she was like tied up. Like
I know
this.
when you described that to me,
Yeah.
that was crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. But
Yeah, I mean it's surgery, right? Like I don't know if I'd be.
And
able
then the
to.
crazy part is the anesthesia. Like I'm listening to the monitors and I turn around to look, and the anesthesiologist is watching hockey.
Yes, right.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, big things are happening.
It's not even hockey season. What is he watching?
College hockey. I
Oh my gosh. Priorities.
don't know
here,
why
buddy.
that's on TV.
My wife is giving birth here, and you're watching a hockey game.
Crazy.
That's
but
wild.
I love my baby snuggles. The baby snuggles. I mean, now I remember how much I missed that.
Well, it's so cool now because Elliot just turned 1, so now I'm getting for the first time all of our Snapchat memories and all the pictures that I've taken from when he was a baby. So many pictures are showing up now when I was, and it's just the best when they're sleeping and they'll just sleep on your chest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love that feeling.
It's so cool.
Oh, it's the best. Yeah.
I know. It's exciting to like do it all over again, and you have like even a different appreciation for it. I'm sure the second time around,
Yep.
because you think about all the different things that you missed or you feel like you might not have.
And we're
thought
less, I guess we're seasoned parents, so it's like a little less high strung. Like with the first one, you're like, am I doing this wrong? Am I doing this? Call on your mom. Are you sure you're supposed to feed him this? He didn't burp. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh, you're fine.
Yep.
Figure it out.
Number 2 always is a little tougher. They just kind of have to figure it out, and they're also tougher because of their older brothers and sisters that are booping them around.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so cute. It's so cool to think about how much we're expanding. It is crazy. So now we're at number 6, 3. We have 6 in the family.
Emily has 3, so you just add those 3, and then Logan.
You have 2, and I
Yeah,
have 1.
2. 1, and then soon 7.
Soon 7. Wow.
Yep. And hopefully, we said this, we hope James has a boy. Then we have our baseball teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 on 2.
Actually, you want to know something funny today? Logan was going down for his nap, and he's going in his bed, and he said, okay, I can sleep here, and Elliot can sleep here. He wanted him to sleep on his fire truck bed.
There you go. Already planning to sleep.
Yeah, he's planning sleepovers already.
That's great. That's so cool that he's got his big boy bed too.
Yeah.
He's getting so old. I can't believe it that they're 3 now.
Yep,
Crazy.
3, and they just keep growing and growing.
Growing and growing. So yeah, really exciting
Flash
stuff.
the eye.
You didn't even take 2 weeks. Then you're already back on the podcast.
Yeah, I wanted to, just in case like I miss, just let you get a little flavor of me in October.
Just in case.
And then James can fill. He said he'll fill in. I don't know if you guys remember James.
That's right.
Tall lad.
Good fellow. Yeah, so obviously things
we'll
are busy
see what's
with the
going
baby,
on
so.
and everything. But it seems everything's going in the right direction with health wise, and couldn't ask for a better baby with Elijah. He just naps and eats right now. It's only week 1 of his life, but couldn't be happier. And I'm just that. You know what's crazy? Me and Jess talked about this. Like, we couldn't imagine like having that love for a second kid. You know what I mean? Like the one you have for your first. Like, oh no, I don't know, like this, but it's right there
Of
immediately. Like it just hits you, and you're like, wow, I guess I do have room for 2 in my heart.
Oh, 100%, right? There's no way that doesn't. Yeah. Even almost like you might even feel it more so, like you just appreciate it again.
And what's crazier, I don't know if you went through this, Josh, but like once I came home with the baby, I'm looking at Logan and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's getting so big. It's like,
Oh yeah.
I guess having that little baby, and then you look at your first and you're like, wow, what happened?
Well, I remember thinking that with Grace because she was tiny, because she was only 3 pounds when we brought her home.
Wow.
So it was just like, whoa, like the difference is like, oh, Eli's getting so big.
Yeah.
That's
I'm holding this tiny little thing I can put literally on my forearm. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
It is cool. That's so neat and it has to be so fun. Like obviously Elijah's so little, but more so Josh, like to see them interact together. Like I love that watching like Emily's babies. Like it's so cool seeing them all interact
No,
together.
that's great.
It's just
Yeah. It
siblings.
really is.
Yeah, it's so fun. I wonder when we'll end up expanding our fam over here. Definitely, I hope we can expand into a home first because Elliot's first birthday, awesome. Everything went really well. So exhausting having to plan a party and execute a party. Like there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah,
That's
big
for
time.
sure. Especially when it's not at your house, because we had to do it at Roddy's parents.
That's what I think I'm doing with the christening. I'm gonna have it at my parents, so it's gonna be like,
it's harder to like plan for something when you can't just like do it when you're home. You have to like go there to do it. But the gifts is taking over the apartment. Our whole room is just
that's
like
what happens.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's just so much
Toys just
stuff.
take over your
Yeah,
life and existence.
and it's like they're all pretty big size, right? Like there's a ball pit, there's a basketball hoop, like all these different things. So it's just like taking over the whole room.
I got it all in my attic right now, and then like eventually I'm gonna have to like move it down and be like, all right, Logan, you got to share half the playroom. We got to get a little kid toys in here.
That's right.
I think Claire and I, we hate clutter. So like once a month we'll purge things. We'll
Yeah.
go through
Will
it. So,
you?
like, the old toys they don't play with, we just toss them.
That's a good idea.
Half of them are broken.
Yeah,
you know?
but then it's
Oh,
crazy
exactly.
because then they're like, hey, where's this?
Yeah,
It's like,
it's lost.
It went to toy heaven. That's a good idea because I realized like how quickly it just builds up and builds up, and then it's like, all right, those newborn toys, probably move those on.
They don't
Yeah,
even.
yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. I have 2 bins of newborn stuff up toys, and it's like they
Yeah.
don't even touch them.
I know. Yeah, it's
They'll rather have a spatula.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. We literally, there was one point where Eli, when he was little, as he was getting a little bit older, probably one or so, that all he wanted to play with was empty milk jugs and spatulas, literally. And he had all these toys, and he never played with his toys, but he only wanted to play with milk jugs.
They get what they want what they can't have. I think.
Exactly.
It's like,
Yeah, that
yep,
could be it.
it's more fun. And then if they see like mommy and daddy playing it or like using it, it's like
Yeah.
that's what I want.
I was the same way though. I used to play with turkey basters, and that was my sword in the stone, and I would put it in the couch and pull it out.
Oh, really? That's so funny.
Nice.
Sword in the Stone. That's a good movie.
So let me do my dad joke of the.
Sweet.
I expect this dad joke to be 2 times better now since you have
I enjoyed it.
you're a
when
dad of 2.
What did the janitor say when he came out of the closet? He said, "Supplies." You thought I was going to go in a bad direction.
I was gonna hit that punchline, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like trying to change it, like, I got to change it, like coming out of the closet. He's coming out of his janitor
Janitor's
closet.
Supplies.
Supplies.
Nice. That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Have you tried these on like a
Jess,
Logan?
I try
or-
it on Jess. So
Okay.
I guess sometimes. Like I had one thing that she told me, she's like, don't talk about it.
She said no. It's not a good joke.
No, it wasn't a joke. I was just like asking. I'm gonna end talking about it. I was like, is soup like a drink or is it food? You're drinking it. And she's like, no, you're eating it. I was like, yeah, you eat the noodles maybe, but you're drinking the.
No, soup's definitely food.
That's right.
I mean, you might slurp it at the end, as a little.
I don't know. You drink it.
It's got a liquid base, It's not.
Andrew puts soup down and you say, hey, do you need a spoon? You say, no, just a straw.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Putting it in a cup, like.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of a bowl, you grab a cup out of the cup.
So then the ocean is just a giant soup because you eat all the fish and it's liquid.
Mind blown. If soup is a food, then the ocean is a soup. That's how we got to that. All right, that's
Nice.
we just got a glimpse into Andrew's brain.
Yeah.
These are the important questions.
Exactly.
Just swimming around. You got clam soup and trout soup.
It's just
and,
alive. Exactly. It's a living soup. Do we become a part of the living soup when
When
we
you swim
in
in
the
it?
ocean?
Yeah.
We might be. To the sharks and
And if you drink some seawater by accident, you're accountable.
it's that simple. Wow. So how many things have you been running by Jess that just have not made it on the podcast? Soup is a food.
There. Let's do the draft.
Oh yes, you
It's
mentioned
football
that you have
season,
a
so we
draft.
got to keep doing the draft. We missed last week's draft. This week, I was thinking of doing, since Elijah was born on the first day of fall, doing a fall draft.
Oh, okay.
So,
Is that the first day of fall was the 23rd?
yes, I believe so.
Nice.
Either that or like the 21st.
Yeah,
like
it's
Ronnie's.
around that time, right? Cool. Is that the same every year? The fall, first day of fall?
Yes.
Is it?
Well, I know one of them changes.
Summer solstice or whatever.
Solstice?
or whatever.
Yeah, the solstice.
That's in June.
Okay.
Yes, I think that changes from day to day. Like the 21st, 22nd.
Around there.
Yeah.
That's a cool birthday to have, first
So-
day of fall.
How many do you want to do? Do you want to do 3 again? You think that's a good number? Or you want to do like 5?
5.
Yeah, 5 might be too much
that's
because
a
then
lot,
that's 15. Let's do 3.
3. All right, let's do
Um,
3. The official draft of fall.
Josh, you start off. And
How's-
then I'll go. Then you do snake it back. And then
Okay.
Josh goes.
So so it's about what?
Yeah, what are
so-
the parameters
Yeah, what
here?
are the,
Josh is going to get 1.
Yeah, what's the
right. So, but what do we? Like, what about fall?
Just the, like, what do you
Like,
like
what do you like
it?
about fall?
Yeah.
I have to go Thanksgiving.
Taking Thanksgiving.
it's
That's a
gotta be
big
my
one to
number
take.
Yeah.
He grabbed Thanksgiving off the board.
I thought that might still be there.
I honestly, I'm thinking fall, like Thanksgiving
I'm
didn't
thinking
even pop in
football.
my head. Football. Okay. Pumpkin beer.
Pumpkin beer.
Pumpkin beer. I mean, you could go pumpkin anything at this time. Like Dunkin' Donuts has all the pumpkin coffees, but I do enjoy pumpkin beer in the fall. It's probably my favorite. All right, so I get to go twice now on the back end. So pumpkin beer is a number 1, and then fall. I do love golf in the fall, so I'm going to say fall foliage. When the leaves change and you're out just playing golf on a nice crisp afternoon, that's always fun. That's a big grab there, but I'm gonna take the fall foliage.
Mm.
So back to you, right?
Josh, right?
No, it
Or
goes
me?
backwards. Yep.
I'm gonna take cider donuts, apple cider donuts.
So have you ever been to Stu Leonard's?
I don't know.
So
Where
I
is that?
probably not, right? Because Stu Leonard's is only in Nassau, but it's a grocery store,
I don't know.
and they have when you walk in the door, they have like all their pastries right away. And I was just in there the other day. The best smelling donut, apple cider donuts. It's just like you almost have to buy them when you walk in. You just smell those donuts. It's
Growing
such a
up, we live like probably 45 minutes or half an hour from this town that had this place called the Cider Mill Playhouse. And it was like a playhouse, so they would put on like theater productions. But then also the majority of the place, it was a cider mill. So like they would grow apples. They had like an apple orchard that you can hang out on.
Wow.
And then they would make apple cider, and they would make apple cider donuts like from the apples that they had. And they were the best apple cider donuts
That sounds
ever.
like really authentic.
Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
growing and making it like
Definitely. Yeah, it's a good tradition. Every year we'd get it.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
So can I say like hot apple cider, or is that too close to
No, you can
apple
say
cider
that,
donuts? Because I love hot apple cider. It's like one of my favorite things.
Well, we'll milk that. We can milk that all in with like hot chocolate too, and like that kind of
It's
stuff.
like hot drinks.
Yeah, hot drinks in the fall.
Sure.
I've never had hot. I don't think I had. No, I probably have had hot apple cider at some point in time.
Yeah, my mom has a recipe that's like phenomenal.
Really?
So good, yeah.
So what?
Gotta make
How
it.
do you make it? You just put apples in a pot? and
No,
you're, like,
so you buy apple cider, and then you put in like some brown sugar, cinnamon sticks, and then allspice, and you let allspice kind of soak in it, and then that makes it taste literally like liquid apple pie.
Wow.
So then it's just like it's so good. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
That is good. That
Make it for you
sounds
guys
good.
sometime.
I feel like I can like smell these foods right
Yeah,
now.
me
as
too.
we're talking about it. It's just like,
Maybe
is
it's
that
the
a candle?
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
fall
fall-
candle. Yeah.
So we actually are selling it. I'm like, man,
Josh, you got
twice.
your
Right?
Oh,
You got
yeah.
twice.
And
I gotta
then
think about this.
I gotta say pie. I love pie.
Nice.
Pie,
It's like pie season.
like Jimmy Neutron's dad.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
love pie.
That's me. That is literally me.
Josh is Jimmy Neutron's dad.
Yeah, surprise.
Supplies.
Supplies.
I'm fighting with myself now. Now I don't know what to say. I got like 3 I want.
3. I'm like, okay, go ahead.
You know what? I'm gonna take it for Oktoberfest beer.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what I
beer.
enjoy.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good Oktoberfest beer.
Okay,
Nice.
that's good. You definitely can have that preference, right? Like,
I don't
because I
like
don't really
pumpkin.
care for much
Yeah.
for the Oktoberfest.
Yeah,
beer.
and I don't really care for the pumpkin. Like
That's good.
the
Yeah, that's
only
fine.
pumpkin that I liked. Normally, I'm like it kind of like made my throat close a little bit. The
Oh, no.
pumpkin beer.
Really?
But the only one I liked was at John Harvard's over by the Smith Haven Mall.
Yes,
That was the only pumpkin beer that I enjoyed.
dude, I miss John Harvard's.
Yeah,
They
now
closed
it's
that.
a Shake Shack.
Yeah, I love Shake Shack. That was John Harvard's was where Ronnie had her first burger. I will
really?
always remember John Harvard's.
What?
Yes.
Me and Jess used to go there every Valentine's Day.
Really?
That was where we would go because it wasn't crowded.
Yeah, it never was crowded. I liked that place
And they had
a lot.
like fakes. I don't know if they were real saints, but they had the stained glass
windows. And they were,
windows.
yeah, I think
and
they were
I
saints.
enjoyed going there.
Yeah. It was a really cool vibe. It was very dark in there.
Yeah, it was very dark. That's like the old schooly like vibe. Like they used to make like if they were fancy, it would be very dark and
Dark,
dingy
right?
lighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a real tavern-y feel. Yeah, that was a cool place. I like John Harvard's. All right, so wrapping it up, staple for me, easy choice right now. October playoff baseball in the fall. I love when it's a little cold. You're watching the game and they're all wearing long sleeves. You see a little breath coming out in the air.
Yeah.
I love October baseball. We're gonna have
Good stuff.
we have a potential opportunity for another Subway series. At this moment, the Subway series is on. Subway series watch is on. If the Mets decide to,
Well, they're in the playoffs. But
yeah, they're in a battle right now with the Braves.
They're a little
I guess when this is released, we'll know what they ended up after the weekend series. It's a big series.
Can I like say one more thing? For
Yes,
fall?
a little honorable
A
mention.
little honorable mention. So I just got really excited about it. You guys grew up watching those like Charlie Brown shorts, like the Great Pumpkin and the Thanksgiving.
Kind
one?
of.
Yes, kind of. I'm
Kind of,
familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with
So
it.
my family, we every year we would watch
Really?
watch those. So it's ingrained within me.
That's
Charlie Brown.
that's
time-
when they pull the football away and
Yeah,
like those
yeah,
shorts.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course. I
Yeah.
remember those.
Yeah, so they had like a Halloween special. They have a Thanksgiving special, and then I would like the big Christmas special, and we would watch those every year.
That's fun.
I have an honorable mention too is roasted corn when you go pumpkin picking. It's
Oh.
always the best.
Oh, yeah.
I've
But-
never had that.
And also hoodies.
Fall is just great. Can
Yeah.
you just say that?
Fall is really great.
so good.
Honestly, like summer is top for me. I love summer. I love sitting on the beach
The activity and
and what you can do. But fall, like,
when cozier, but it's
Yeah.
not too cold. Like,
yes, yeah, fall is great.
Back
so many
to,
traditions.
yeah.
The Charlie Brown. I didn't like it because like when I was in school and I was bigger, one time I wore orange and someone told me I was the Great Pumpkin. I was like, you son of a biscuit.
That's not nice. Who would say that?
That's terrible.
That's mean.
Bullies. We're gonna go find you, bully. Wow. Andrew, Josh brings up the Great Pumpkin, and Andrew
Start
started
twitching.
You just have to go beep.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
That's no difficulties. Man, fall. We're in it, fall. I'm excited. I'm actually going to Woodlock in a couple weekends to go
Nice.
play golf.
Nice.
It's our third annual golf trip to Woodlock with my friends. So
Oh,
this is
nice.
the first time we're doing it in the fall. We've done it in the summertime other times, but this is the fall trip.
Well.
So I'm excited.
I have never played golf before.
You haven't?
I have not.
Wow. All right.
And I know I would be bad at it. So that's why I haven't done it yet.
That's why.
It's okay. I'm not good. It's all about having fun.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea.
Playing
right?
the course.
Hanging out with your bros.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now, like with Top Golf and everything, like there's fun ways to go play golf and stuff too.
Because there's like form to it, right? Like,
Definitely.
Like a really.
Oh yeah, it's something that I've been working my whole life on, and I still it's tough.
Still takes lessons.
Yeah, I actually had a lesson tomorrow that I had to cancel. I gotta go. I got it for my birthday, so I gotta go use that at
Nice.
the like right up the road here. But we should do that. So I'll watch Lord of the Rings if we all go golfing together. That's our trade here.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Make that happen. Cool.
Little mustard seed golf outing.
Exactly. Honestly, I would tell you that was one of my like thoughts and goals in my mind. Like one day, I hope we figure out how to make this thing like a real
Get a little
platform
charity going.
and have like a full on golf outing.
Yeah.
Like remember this. How many years from now we'll have a golf outing? We'll make it happen.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we kind of laid off the songs for a little bit, but we picked some songs to add to our, ever growing list of playlist that we want you guys to listen to and hear out. And Josh and Claire's cover, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, was really good. I actually listened to that like 3 times. I was like, oh,
Nice. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was
Hey, we
really
have
good.
more coming too. We just recorded one last night, I think. So that'll be up on Monday.
nice.
And then we got a lot of stuff coming. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there a way to be able to create? Obviously there's a way, but like, have you thought about making like your Spotify like account so that people can, like look up and search you guys and listen to your music? Because this is awesome.
Yeah, we've been thinking about it, definitely. I think we're going to do something for Christmas. And then from then on, we're going to work on making some stuff. But
Nice.
But yeah, so stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
Stay tuned. Keep coming to here. We'll plug you where you got to be plugged. Buy it up.
Buy it up, baby. So what do you got, Andrew? You want to start it off with the music? I feel like this can be a good way to kind of give a glimpse into like our weeks and kind of our little faith journey as well, right? As it ties in. So
I got this song by Katie Nicole and Big Daddy Waves. It's always weird to say Big Daddy.
Is it Big Daddy Weave?
Weave. Yeah, there you go. See?
Nice. I need the sound effect, yeah.
God is in this story.
God is in this story.
Yeah. I found that song by accident just by my Alexa asking her to play Christian music. And I really got into it and I asked her to play it again. It was good just to have on in the background, just listen to it.
What was kind of the theme behind it that helped you?
Just like like pointing out the fact like that church is important. You know, a lot of like I feel like a lot of like Christians are just like, oh, I pray and I read the Bible, that's good enough. But sometimes you need that structure, you know. You need that everyday structure just to guide you. Sometimes like you can feel repetitive just going to church and like you're just going through the motions, but like sometimes like your soul needs to eat that, you know.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
That's a very good song, like kind of pointing it out.
Really? That's cool. I got to give that a listen. I 100% agree with that. There's just this kind of like rejuvenating feeling of, okay, I'm ready to attack my week, you know, after church. And obviously when we're receiving Jesus Christ himself and it's like becomes a part of us and is inside, like that is huge, right? Like I think that when you talk about your faith and the idea of like you're praying and, you know, obviously when I feel like when I make my prayers, they're always with the intention of saying, you know, how can I become more like Christ or be deeper in my faith to live in a way that Christ wants me to live. And then you realize like, that's what you get out of the Mass. Like the Mass is that giving self to.
And this week was mustard seed.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. Well,
Gospel.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow's, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Nice. Dude, you did a little sneak peek. You
Did a
checked
little
out
sneak peek. I'm a Patreon. And the Catholics.
Nice.
Very cool.
But
Oh,
yeah.
that's great. Cool. I gotta check that out. Josh, did you have any music this week that was driving your
Yeah,
week?
so it's gonna sound a little pretentious, I guess, but Claire and I have been listening to a lot of like kind of like choir type of stuff.
Nice.
And so I in college I recorded with a group who did, it was like an a cappella choir type of thing, and it was the 100th anniversary of the college that we went to, and it was a Catholic college, so they wanted an album of Marian hymns.
Nice.
And so there's been some like Ave Marias, some different versions of it. And there's one in particular that we've been listening to a lot. And it's just like, it's just very powerful. Because I love like beauty, especially in music. And because I think that's one way where we truly experience God is in beauty, right? It's like beauty in the world, beauty in whatever. It's like, you know, we can really see him in that. And so within these songs, it was like, we've been praying with them. So we'll just listen to them and just kind of, you know, sit back and close our eyes. And this, man, tears were coming. And
Yeah,
it's just
it hits.
beautiful. It's just like you're just surrounded by God, and like, and then, you know, saying Hail Mary through music. Yeah, it's great.
It's powerful. I've done more of that with the Halo app.
The Hollow.
Hollow. Even in my brain, I'm thinking like, okay, I got to say this the right way.
Yeah, so like
And I
that,
said
like Gregorian chant
Yes.
type of stuff. Like, yeah, I mean, it can be very, you know, it's very prayerful, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
It is cool. And it's neat that there are so many different ways to pray in a sense, like using music and things like that. Like how, you know, a song or a choir, like that stuff is powerful. Yeah, it is interesting to hear that.
Definitely. So in particular, so this was an Ave Maria from 1861
Oof.
from a guy named Anton Bruckner. And it's just incredibly beautiful.
Huh.
Should put a link to it somewhere. You guys can listen.
Have you ever seen, were you going to play it?
No, you said.
Oh, like,
Oh,
yeah,
put it on
I'll
link.
put a link in the
Cool.
description of the video. Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the, because I feel like this is not something that's really Americanized much anymore, is like the music in a sense. I mean, you can find it, right? But I forget where it is. I think it's Spain, where they did like the whole procession. Yeah, I think it was Spain because it was Fatima and it was Our Lady of Fatima, where they walk the statue of Mary like through like the whole
the
city.
procession. Yeah.
And everyone's got candles and they're singing and everything. Crazy. It was so wild to see that, and it was like powerful. You're like, whoa, like this is.
Yeah, definitely. And then, well, in Spain especially, there's so many, you know, there's a lot of influences from the Catholic faith, especially have you heard of the El Camino walk?
No.
So it's,
Yes, actually, I read an article about it.
yeah, so it's this big hike, right? It's like
Yes.
560-mile hike that you can take. It's basically following the footsteps of the disciple James, because he ministered in Spain. And so, yeah, it's literally 33 days of just going through his path. And then along the way, you go through these little villages and little towns and stuff. And it's supposed to be like this incredibly kind of prayer kind of thing before you get to the coast. And then you're supposed to like go in the water, and it's like a baptism type of thing. But
Interesting.
That's
yeah.
like beauty of the disciples of how they just traveled to each different country, and that
they went out everywhere,
and they spread the word
through all that by
I mean,
foot.
if you think about it, Spain from Israel, like that's quite the hike.
Long distance for sure.
Yeah.
And it's cool that it's available in a sense that like we can do that today. Like if we wanted to, we could one day make that hike,
Definitely.
That's where I saw it on, because when we were talking to you guys about what we've been trying to find online and different things, and that was on the National Catholic Register. They had an article about that walk because there were 3 priests that do it every year, which is really cool because I didn't even know about it. But that's so neat that there's like you're walking the footsteps of what the disciples did.
And some people are really intense about it. Like there's some people who will crawl it
really
on their hands and knees as like a sign of like, I'm not worthy even to do this. And so they'll crawl it, which is just, whoa, man, that's intense.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He's a saint. That's a problem sometimes too. It's like sometimes
Take it a little too far.
take like the saints.
But
as
hey,
like
I mean, if it's the way of praying, it's kind of suffering and experiencing some kind of adversity to reunite you with God. Like,
well, that's what I think is unique about when I hear or I've read more now about different hikes that people do, and like you don't think of it as really grueling or challenging because you're like, oh, you're going on a hike, like you're walking. But I could understand like through all the terrains and stuff, and how a lot of people have talked about it as it is very like spiritual and prayerful, because it's like you're offering up your suffering, through this walk and things like that. It's unique.
I mean, you get to think about it. 33 days. So
that's
a month where all you do is walk.
Through all the different.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's a cool thing. That's really neat. So my song this week, I feel like I'm always very reflective, if that's the right word. I'm just constantly like thinking about where I'm at, where I'm going. And lately I've been trying to tie that into more and more trying to be like, okay, where are you trying to take me, Lord? Like, what is your will versus my will? So that's been on my heart a lot lately. And the song that really has been like kind of driving that this week for me was, I went hard into Need to Breathe. I love Need to Breathe. I think they're a great band. But the song What I'm Here For is a really good song, and it's just kind of was very relatable for me throughout this past like week or so, because it like the line is like, God, I'm only human, and it's like, well, that's what I'm here for. And thinking about that, and it's like, we have all of our shortcomings, like we're human. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying to do way too much instead of being a little bit more surrendering and allowing God to really work in my life and let him kind of guide me and lead me through my day. So that song has been in my rotation as of late. And it's kind of just been, I think too, because I've just been in the car so much lately. It's like allowing
a lot of
God,
driving.
a lot of driving. Yeah. So it's like allowing God to just like
that's good
guide
too.
through things.
But how much you can take in a lot of intake between podcasts and the song, so that's great too.
Oh, it is good.
Just to reflect and just to like calm, but then you could get into a song and then be like, oh, that was my exit.
Yeah, right. You missed the car, missed your turn. Oh, for sure though. That's why I do like I have to go into the office for what we're alluding to on Mondays, and it's in New Jersey. So I mean, there's been weeks now where it's been a 3-hour drive, just from start to finish, just to get there. So
Yikes.
But it doesn't feel as crazy as that sounds, because of what you said, Andrew. Like I just listen to the music or podcasts, and it like allows me to really spend some time like in prayer and with God, and then it allows me to kind of like form my day in a way. And it's like, okay, like let's go out and like kind of accomplish these
And
things.
besides our podcast, there's a bunch of good podcasts out there. Like a nice
You mean there's something better than us?
No
Like,
way.
what?
that a little bit. Like they're a little lower
They're
than
close.
the Mustard Seed,
Give them that.
Who's the guy who just did Shia LaBeouf's?
Yeah, Bishop
Bishop
Barron.
Yeah.
I watched bits and parts of the Shiloh one, and I watched bits and parts of him doing with Mark Wahlberg, and then he does a bunch of different.
Yeah, the
ones.
Word on Fire. That's his company where they do a lot of that stuff, the media and interviews, and Bishop Barron. He's doing some great stuff.
He's awesome. It's funny you brought him up, because I was going to bring him up actually, because I watched one of his videos that he posted this week. He's very intellectual. Like like the way he speaks, right? He's got like. Sometimes I feel like I get lost.
Yeah, me
like,
too.
what
I'm
is he
like,
saying?
should I listen to him?
But
I
still,
don't know.
sometimes there's ways that he's able to say something that it then clicks, and then it does make sense. But yeah, he's definitely up there as an intellectual.
For sure. It inspires me to try and like
to figure it out,
be intellectual and like follow along, right? Like yeah. But you're right. Then he does like he'll say something kind of you're like, wait, but then he hits you with that one line there. You're like, that made sense.
Yeah, I have to say, watching him talk about the Eucharist was really, really helpful in my conversion to become a Catholic. Between him and Scott Hahn, their like explanation of the real presence is what helped me recognize that this is true. And so I definitely recommend that. Yeah.
I got to give that a listen because that's something that I've been thinking about more and more lately, like talking about the Mass and like the Eucharist and Jesus Christ coming to us in the Eucharist and all of that.
Yeah. So, Scott Hahn does this talk called, I think it's called the Lamb's Supper, or the Supper of the Lamb. And literally when I was Protestant, Claire gave me this like CD that had that talk on it. And we listened to it together and then immediately went to Mass. And I was weeping through Mass.
Really?
Like, I'm not a crier at all, but like, I was just bawling because it just made sense to me. His way of explaining what the Mass is and then talking about the Eucharist as the real presence and how everything that Christ did in his final few days, like how that all is like the pinnacle and like explained through this act is, yeah. So I really recommend it. Yeah, so it's the Lamb's Supper by Scott Hahn. And
we'll check that out.
Think about it too. It's like Mass is the Spirit, the Holy Spirit that we need, like to do it, and then you got Jesus, the Eucharist.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so much out of it.
And then you got the Father, the Father as the priest,
and it's all there.
Yeah.
And I think because obviously that's it's a very bold claim that we as Catholics believe in. The fact of saying that Eucharist is the body, the real presence of Christ, and so for a lot of people that's a very hard thing to, rightfully so, to understand and to get a grip on. But I think if you give it a chance and kind of see through a lens of faith, then also through an intellectual like Scott Hahn, who can explain it in such an incredible way, then it can really help with that belief. So.
Well, that's what I kind of love about our faith, and I almost want that to be like talked about a little bit more in a way, because the video was Bishop Barron was talking about some of the things that Elon Musk had just recently tweeted about.
Oh, didn't he just interview him? Didn't he just do an interview?
Did he? I don't know. Well, he was talking about what Elon Musk was saying.
Oh, maybe that was the thumbnail that I saw.
Yeah,
he was just talking
because that was a video I watched. It was like 10 minutes.
Okay, yeah. I have it saved.
Yeah, watch it. It's really interesting because Elon Musk was talking about kind of like what life could be out there.
Aliens
going to Mars, and the questions to Bishop Barron was like, how does that translate to our faith? And Bishop Barron was. I got two things that came from it that I thought were really cool. And one of them was the idea of Jesus came, right? Not to a specific time and a specific place, but he came for all of creation, like that transcends time. And when he says all of creation, he's like, that could be, what's out in the universe. Like God created this vast universe and we're just, a little piece of it and a part of it. And that's such a wild thing, I feel like, to think about. The vastness of the universe and also just God's hands in everything and how he's created all of that. And it just like, it kind of ties into, I think, a little bit of like the Eucharist in itself as well. And like how that Christ like came for that. And now here we are, how many years later, celebrating the Eucharist, celebrating the Mass. And like, that's Christ coming to us again, like transcending time in a sense. And the idea of like Bishop Barron talking about, what Elon Musk is saying. And he basically agreed with it in all different ways. And he's like, yeah, like for us as Catholics, like we can always be curious about what is out there and like appreciating in a way of like God and all of that stuff. It's
and a lot of Catholics don't like that. They don't like the curiosity. Stick to your pews.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are like. And it's like great that he's agreeing with that. And just like also great, like Elon's like not like throwing God out the window, just like
right.
Yeah, because I forget exactly how Elon Musk like framed it in a sense, but it was something to kind of like almost like confirm religion in a way of being like, hey, like religion is a part of life. And like I love that it was cool to hear Bishop Barron talking about how you view your faith and how for us, like just the curiosity is something that we should embrace. And I just remember that like when we were younger, I went to a field trip to the planetarium. And I thought it was the coolest thing, like seeing like the galaxies, the stars and everything like that. And to think about how, I don't know, maybe it is because we're older and we have to live life you have to go to work and so you don't have as much time to like do those little things. But I hope that is like for Elliot as he's growing up, like I want him to have like curiosities about like the world, like God created nature, God created all these animals and space and time and everything like that. Like it's such a unique and cool thing to be kind of curious and explore and get into. It was cool to hear him talk about it in a way with our faith.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And I think oftentimes a lot of people think there's this like that the Catholic Church like disagrees with science or like disagrees with like reasoning and stuff like that. But when reality is they kind of work together. Like faith and science, they both kind of promote each other.
Yeah, I feel like that's what he was alluding to.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's a really big component in that. He likes to talk about that type of stuff, or like understanding that like no, like just because science says one thing, it doesn't disprove what we believe as Catholics, but it's actually quite the opposite. It's like showing the beauty of God and how He kind of works in our world and all that stuff. Yeah, Bishop Barron is a legend.
Yep.
I know we're so lucky to have him. He's on our side, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Right, working with us. And you mentioned the idea of like, well, if we ever had life on Mars, like we'd have to have a parish on Mars. I was like, wow, like that's wild. Yeah. If you guys had say we lived in our time and people were actually moving to Mars, would you ever consider moving to Mars if that was a possibility?
I don't know. The inflation rate here is bad.
Yeah,
I can't
how bad it would be
imagine
there.
the moon rock there, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so.
What have we figured out as far as Mars goes?
I think there's water.
Is there water?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. They're never going to really tell us.
What do they know?
But yeah. It's always, well, all the science, God made the scientists, gave them their brains. So
of course. So many.
without God, we wouldn't have had any of this.
Right? And think about the hospital system.
Yeah, the modern medicine just alone of like what we went through. Like if this was back in the day, like, 1940s, who knows if like just what came out of this, because they would have been like, oh, baby's not coming out. Sorry.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, he's stuck in the pelvis. No problem. Bring him in. Do this. Get him out.
And how quick they're able to
Yeah.
turn and just handle it and knew exactly what it was to be able to take care of it.
Yes,
all.
you can almost say, I feel like oftentimes pride keeps us from really seeing God's work, and especially in the intellect and knowledge, right? So like all of that stuff, you can kind of say it's a gift, right? It's a gift that people were able to gain the ability to figure this stuff out, and especially in the nature of health, right? Like into, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I no, exactly. Like keep moving forward.
Yeah.
It is interesting like that.
Exactly. And it's good to like, especially in health, like we should always be striving for the better, service of all of humanity, and to credit that as like, well, the Lord's giving us the knowledge and almost the revelation to open our eyes to these new discoveries and things so that we can kind of use it to serve his people and his church, right?
Yeah.
And who knows where we'd be if Adam and Eve never ate that apple. Yeah.
Well, we'd be perfect.
Yeah, life would have been great.
It'd be much better.
No.
But
Yeah. It's wild to think about just those. That's an interesting thought. But that combination of like moving forward, and I think that's something that has created, I think, a little bit of headbutting in a sense within the Catholic Church and even just the little world in general of like, because there's a lot of tradition and things that have built our faith and like.
How crazy is this? If like you're talking to a group of people and someone's like, oh, I'm Muslim, I'm nothing, I'm a atheist. No one said bats an eyelash. You say you're Christian, you're Catholic. They're like, oh, you're one of those.
There has been sort of a
Nuts.
condensation to it, right? Condensation.
Condescension. Yeah.
So, it's
Well, and that's why I think
annoying
because of that conviction that it's true. You know what I mean? So like that kind of tells me that, for people to respond this way, they know there's something to this.
Sure. Like if they are so adamant
they're
about
so
proving
resistant
it wrong,
to it,
they're
and
so
they don't want to
resistant.
deal with like
Yeah.
everything.
because
Yeah,
at
so
the end of the day, when you think about like what it means to be a Catholic or what it means to be a follower of Christ, like he's asking us to do something so much more and to live in a way that is very radical and different from like how it's not easy, right? Like life is easy if you're just always worried about yourself. But when you're living in a faith,
One thing I always say too is like Jesus is in everyone's books. So like
yeah,
they're like, oh, prove it or whatever, and I'm like, he's in your Quran, he's in this, he's in that. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, he's just within us, right?
Yeah.
Like we were designed, we were made in his image. So every one of us carries that around as the temple, whether or not we believe, like that's
And I think the great thing too is he didn't write it about himself. Like some of these books, like they wrote, like I believe their prophet Muhammad, he wrote his book.
Really?
And one of them is like he was having a heart attack and he took his heart out and washed it in a puddle and put it back and it was fine.
It's
Really? That's so wild to hear
yeah.
this.
I actually studied it a little bit just because I wanted to see what, when it was getting popular back when we were younger in high school, and I was like looking it up online, and I was like, this is nuts.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he wrote about himself. Jesus did not write about himself.
No.
He surrounded himself with the right people, and they went out and reached Spain, reached Russia, reached all these things, which is amazing how they had this, we'll call it social media reach and all that, and got it in the cultures and brought the Bibles, brought the word of God and just passed it along. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's true.
Can't deny that.
Which is why it's spread. If it was just insane or ridiculous, it's like what C.S. Lewis says about Christ is like he was either three things. He either was Lord, liar, or he was a lunatic, right? If he was a liar, the disciples wouldn't have carried it to their death. They would have admitted it, before they were beheaded. If he was a lunatic, nobody would have taken him seriously. And so he must have been Lord. So it's the same. It's like people understand this to be true, which is why it became the biggest thing, and it's,
I like that, how they took it to their deaths and all that.
Yeah.
Because like one guy was trying to say like, Jesus used to give the people mushrooms in the crowd and they would get high.
Yeah, you
like,
mentioned
look, I'm cured a blind person. You think the disciple, like, they weren't making money. They weren't a traveling circus. Like, all right, you want to get healed?
Yes,
That's
right
where people
up.
don't understand. It's
how far people have gone is ridiculous. Like one argument against Christ's resurrection is saying that all of the disciples who saw his resurrected body, they all experienced a hallucination, and they all experienced the same hallucination, which is why they believe what they saw. It's like, come on.
Yeah, right. It's almost
Seriously?
like that is more of a stretch than the actual idea.
The actual proof that he was God and that he was resurrected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a unique topic, our faith and just what it is. And you're right. Like we stand on something that is very extreme and radical in the sense that Jesus comes to us in the Eucharist at the Mass. And that's, and the resistance is, you're right. When you say it that way, it's like, maybe that's why people resist it in a way of like, because there's a piece of them that knows, maybe this is.
I like to look at it as we are the resistance against the world trying to get it out there.
Sure. Like the commission, go out and spread the word. And that's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. I didn't realize it. I popped on, because what was it? Our Lady of Fatima, again, this goes up again. Because I was reading a little bit about it again the other day, and it was the idea that like communism was really prevalent at that time, and I didn't even realize that they were attacking the Catholic Church as harshly as they were, and why that was a thing. And I wonder how much that's just kind of trickled down over time, like indirectly, like just because that was conversations and people. You read a thumbnail, you read a title, and you think what the article says. Kind of like the same thing, how that's been passed on a little bit, and people think they know what Catholicism is or what Christianity is, but it's our job to try our best to explain it in a way that allows people to understand it and to say, wait a second, maybe there is truth to this.
Yeah, exactly. And then if we aren't able to put it into words, it's just how showing by our lives, the lives that we live, can kind of draw people to this reality.
Definitely.
On top of that,
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yep. Yeah. Before we end, we'll say a little shout out, little prayer. We're thinking of you, and we hope that everything goes good in Florida and the other states that are taking on this hurricane.
Yeah.
Hopefully you weren't affected that bad, and you will recover from this little hiccup.
Natural disasters are
crazy.
That's another thing.
Crazy things. I swear, I was showing Josh. So like the water broke down the door, and then they were in their upstairs, and then there was an alligator just swimming in their living room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nope. I'm
no
out.
Way. Nuts. I saw Rebecca showed me a video of Fort Myers, and I've been there for baseball trips, and we went to the beach and the boardwalk, and it got really
a lot of things are just gone.
Crazy.
Destroyed.
Yeah, you remember when we had the hurricane on Long Island? Hurricane Sandy. I because that was my freshman year of college, and St. Joe's became like a place for people to go if they were if their home was flooded or whatever, and it was like so we didn't have like the second half of my semester was just canceled. It was like the best thing ever. We didn't have finals and anything. It was just like the semester ended.
There you go.
But yeah, definitely thoughts and prayers out there.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in this week, right?
Yeah. What do we have upcoming? I think we've got, well, we already talked about that. Yeah, James might pop on a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll do some episodes there.
Yeah, got some music coming.
Music's coming.
Yeah.
Even if next week you got to do it with him, and then the week you're away, I can do it with him.
Yes, that's
figure it
right.
out. Double dose of James.
Double dose of James.
Well, we got to see what he says. You know, tough to get old.
James
stringy.
charges a high rate.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough in our budget to get him 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and the budget's zero.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's fun. I enjoy kind of talking about what we're dealing with in our faith and throughout the weeks, and kind of like what we're seeing, I guess, in a way. It's cool.
Yeah. Keep subscribing. Keep watching. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the subscribes and everything in the past couple of weeks. We appreciate you guys. Stay rooted in Christ and keep it going on.
Yeah.
Amen.
I love that. Amen. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening. Peace.